Onstage gentleman. Onstage, Onstage gentleman. Onstage, Onstage gentleman. Onstage, Onstage gentleman.
Tonight we welcome Morning Hands to the stage of the Phoenix Theater. Morning Hands is a synth-pop duo from Oakland that was previously on the program about 2 years ago with another project. They recently released a new full-length album after a period of immense struggle personally and in their community. And tonight we'll get to know the people behind this music, go deep into their new release, and discuss the struggles they faced along the way. Please welcome to the program, Morning Hands.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Hello.
How long has this band been a project for?
Well, I think 2011? 12. All right.
This is like a significant building block question. Seems dumb from afar, but I ask it for a reason. And the reason is I feel like this creative partnership between you two it's like more than just a musical thing. I feel like you two are kind of brothers in a way. I mean, I feel
very much so.
Like you've been there for each other musically, but also outside of music. Would you say that's true?
Very true.
Yeah, it feels that way sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you met my brother?
Yeah.
I mean, could you go into that at all, just about what this relationship means? Because we're going to be talking tonight about your new album, and the new album had a lot of life stuff happen in the background.
Yeah.
And it weaves itself through the project, but it would be a lot less significant if you two were just like, if you were hiring him or he was hiring you, and it was just like a guy that you knew that you paid to play music with you.
Oh yeah, Craigslist Doug. Still saved my phone as that. No. Well, we were friends before we started this band together, and just from playing shows in our other bands, like when I used to live in Arcata, and like we would throw these like big barn shows in Humboldt County, and like this other band he used to be in called Diesel Dudes would play, and we just hit it off, liked a lot of the same music, and the band I was in at the time, Creepy Marbles, broke up in like 2012, and he started sending me like tracks, unfinished music pieces, and I like sang on like one or two of them and sent them back, and that became Morning Hands.
Because I look at both of you and I think, wow, what quirky and unique individuals, and I feel very much like you two are like made for each other in the best way possible. And I wonder, like, without humor, which you didn't mention, but like the overlap in humor tastes and just like worldview, if the creative partnership would be as strong as it is.
I think we're both like absurdists on some level,
100%.
Yeah,
I totally agree with that. And just like if it was you, the absurdist, and you just the normal guy who was good at music, it'd be fine. But you just have this sort of like yin and yang sort of situation going on, and humor is important to you because it finds itself into some of your other projects. But also, like, you've experienced some like real tragedy with each other now in the last few years, and it's just it's an interesting relationship, and probably one that is one of the more important of both of your adult lives, I would guess.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I think through this project we've definitely what would be the word, kind of turned what a lot of hard feelings into something tangible, I guess, and
kind of beautiful, really. The melodic is just incredible with you guys.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we both are very, I think, into that kind of style of music as well. Very melodic stuff.
And so I ask about how long this band has been together, because 2012-ish was when it formed.
7 years ago.
And just now, this last couple months, you released your first full length.
Yeah, we wanted to get it out in like 2016 or 2017, but like just so much shit got in the way.
We'll get into that. I just want to say that I feel like the release of this album, important to you both artistically, but I also feel like just like life-wise, it's a moment. It's a big moment.
Very much so, yeah.
And what we talk about tonight will kind of inform like why that is. You were faced with obstacle after obstacle, things that could have, should have, and probably would have stopped you if you weren't the two people that you are. And yet here we are. You still release the album, and that's incredible.
Hell yeah. Like I'm like so happy we finished it and like put it out, and now you can get it.
Yeah, it was a while. I think there was a point where I felt like we were about to we wanted to put it out, and then, that was around, December 2016 is when a lot of stuff happened with Ghost Ship, and it kind of really reset a lot of things as far as, where we're at, and we both lost a lot of good friends, and it kind of just, it sets you back a lot. So, and I think we made newer stuff through all that too. Like a lot of the stuff I wrote, I think like almost half of it was like around that time, and it was just like a great, a way to like sort of deal with that. And, I think that's kind of what happened is the album was being, it was pretty much done. And then we were like, well, damn, this is crazy. And then, like you were moving around houses and stuff.
I just had a lot of life instability with like jobs not working out and like living situations not working out. And like, that's real stuff that, materially prevented me from being creative and finishing projects. So,
to me, it's like Ghost Ship, one of the biggest tragedies that our shared artistic community faced. It was December of 2016.
Yeah, December 2nd.
December 2nd, 2016. And we'll talk now about the album, but many of the themes on this album come from you processing these kind of foundation-shaking tragedies, and also just like you mentioned, like just life struggles.
Yeah.
Jobs not working out and financial stuff coming up. Perhaps not tragedies, but huge struggles.
Being broke for 4 years.
Yeah.
It sucks.
And so if you're comfortable, I'd like to talk about some of that, because I think it makes not only like the triumph of releasing this album more significant, but also like the other side of what you try to do with this album, which is it's not a sad album to listen to it. No. It's not a downer, and we'll get into that. But let's talk about Ghost Ship just for a minute, because Tom and I both knew people who knew people that lost people in Ghost Ship.
It sent ripples throughout the entire Bay Area and up to the North Bay. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. I would say pretty much everybody who I know from our North Bay music community knew somebody. And he and I didn't know anybody personally, but you both knew a number of close friends that passed in that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And so people, I'm sure everybody knows what Ghost Ship is, but it was like and you stop me if I say anything wrong, but it was a space where people lived, and it was also an event space. It was a place for artists to live, and an event was going on there, and there was a fire, and I believe it's 36 people.
Yeah.
36 people were killed. What did you see that do to the surviving arts community around you?
Well, immediately after, there was a few places that just got shut down. Yeah. I think Burnt Ramen off the top of my head was one of them that immediately almost was. And I had friends that lived there, and this is, I think it did I think people really came together too at that time, and I think it in ways strengthened some parts of it, but definitely it was I'd say things not the same as they'll never be the same.
We lost something that we will never get back.
Yeah, like a lot of those people were pretty strong, I think, symbols of the group of people we hung out with and worked with in that community too. So yeah, it was definitely sort of a I think everybody kind of some people were like, I got to keep making stuff, and some people were like, I need to step back. But yeah, it was a really surreal event, and
it's like the kind of thing it's like the kind of thing that like happens to other people, or that's what you expect, and like, but when it's all around you and like you can't get away from it, it's I don't really have the word for it, actually.
Just probably one of the biggest tragedies you'll face in your entire life.
Yeah.
It's hard to even like comprehend,
Yeah.
That event could have just changed both of your relationships with Oakland, with the artistic community, with making music for this project. You could have just been like, this hurts too much. I need to get out. I don't want to do this anymore. And perhaps momentarily you felt that way.
Oh, for like a couple months, I felt like I just took the wind out of my sails.
Well, we went on a small tour actually right after that happened.
It was it's something we had booked for like several months.
Yeah, and it was strange. I mean, I think it helped honestly to do that, but yeah, it was, I think it was almost a good thing that we did that because it sort of solidified that we still wanted to do it, after all that.
And yet while you're on it, maybe it feels wrong to even like be feeling any joy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's like
all
being
those
gone
feelings.
was being away from Oakland, and like it was like I don't know, I can't be doing this, or it was strange, and we were. Yeah.
One thing I'll say about you two is I look at you two as like sort of warriors that refuse to concede in a society that makes it really difficult to do what you do.
I've felt that all the time. You know, like I feel like every time we are able to like book a tour or put out an album or do anything like that's creative, it's almost like a haha, like we did it, like in spite of having to live the way we live.
Yeah. It's there's a reason why the people that you made music with in Arcata when you lived there a long time ago, and I don't know what your history is, but there's a reason why the people you were working with 10 years ago who played the shows with you 10 years ago, a lot of them aren't playing the shows anymore.
Yeah. We're still doing it.
You're still doing it. You just keep finding younger friends.
And creating
That's
music.
true.
No, and significant. And you obviously, you do it because you need it and because this is the life that it makes the most sense. But it's not without struggle and it's not without sacrifice.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't occurred to me to like stop, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to think about stopping it. I mean, because the payoff for me is, more than I could, I don't know, like all the stuff that we've gotten to do from having this band. And then, I think I've always wanted to put my music out, since I was young, and just things never really came into, the pieces never fit into where I could like kind of have an opportunity to do it. And then, so it's,
partially through your creative partnership with this man.
Yeah,
You've
exactly.
been able to do that. And you guys have taken, not to go too deep into it, but you've been able to go on great adventures.
Totally.
You've toured Europe, you've toured...
I've been on more airplanes with this guy than anybody, like...
And because of the music.
Yeah.
I mean, without like that as your ticket to do these things, you wouldn't have been able to do those things.
It's like enriched our lives so much. It's a gift.
Another thing, and this is very personal, and I don't want to go too deep into it if you're not comfortable with it, but your birth mother passed in 2017.
Yeah, and like, so there's a song on this album called Santa Fe, and in Spanish that means Holy Spirit, and like Doug just when he's naming songs just kind of like tosses off titles that.
Well, I wrote that song after we went to Santa Fe on a tour.
Yeah. We love Santa Fe.
It's a good city.
But
it was like New Mexico was enchanting. Yeah.
But sometimes when he just titles songs like that have nothing to do with the lyrics I'm going to write, or like sometimes I just use the title anyway and it informs the direction that the song takes. And like that song is about just thinking about. It was like right after I got back from the funeral in Colorado. And I was just thinking about like, where people go when they die, and like feeling their energy, feeling their spirit. Not to get too woo woo on you, but like I really, there's a line in Santa Fe that's "You're not really gone," because I feel her all around me and inside of me and like living through me and my sisters, and it's. She's also really Catholic, so the Holy Spirit thing kind of really works too. And I don't know where I was going with that.
Well, no, we were just talking about your mother passed.
Yeah.
And do you feel like, you say she's all around you, do you feel like she informs your decision making and like you feel like she's with you a lot of the time?
Yeah. I never really got to know her super well. I'd only like seen her twice in my life before that. Most of my life I was adopted when I was a baby, so I didn't have really contact with her. But like, I mean, she was a singer. I'm a singer. There's like something there that's like deeper than just blood or whatever. I don't know.
Were you surprised at how hard it hit you?
Yeah, I almost didn't want to go to the funeral. I was like, oh, I don't know her that well. Would it be weird? You know, da 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 da. But like, I go there, and you know, my sister's kind of in the same mindset as me. We just like, I mean, it's
You both got adopted?
yeah, my
Okay.
twin sister.
Okay.
And we you know, walk into the church, a big Catholic church in Denver, and like it's open casket, and as soon as like we see her body, you just start bawling. I didn't expect that at all, you know, like, and it was like getting punched in the stomach, you know, and this is someone I didn't even know super well, but it's like the woman that I came from, and that really means a lot, you know?
Yeah. What month of 2017 did that happen?
I think it was April. It was April.
Okay. So, I mean, 5 months after Ghost Ship.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, you're just starting to, you know, hopefully maybe get back on your feet emotionally, and then that happens, and then that's another punch to the stomach.
It's almost easy to think of like the last 2 or 3 years as like a sequence, you know, and it's hard to even separate the events, you know.
It really is, honestly. Like we've since Ghost Ship lost a lot of friends, really. So it's
This year.
It's really therapeutic to kind of just get the album out. Like I was actually starting to feel crazy. Like, man, why did I write this? And then, but yeah, like we've just, I think for us getting all this music out I think it's meant more to me than I thought. Like, it would have. I don't know. So, yeah, it's been crazy since that. You know,
100%. And I just want to say one more thing, and I'll tie both those together. I mean, have any of these deaths like changed your outlook on life or even creating at all?
Absolutely. Like, I don't know if this is corny or not, but I want to keep creating because so many people we love, it can't.
Yeah.
It's like to not do what we do is like would be a waste.
Yeah, a lot of those people that we knew were never stopped. Like worked harder than I ever could, and on things that you know they didn't get paid for. You know, so they did because they loved to do it, and there wasn't, you know. So I feel like that's a big message. Is just like you need to just do what you love doing. You know, because I don't know. One of our friends that was just visiting, what did he say? Was you're dead for so long, but you're alive for such a short time, so you need to
got to live it up.
Yeah,
Friend from Sweden.
Yeah.
Did your mom sing her entire life, or was that just earlier in her life?
Yeah. Like I learned later, like that whole side of my family, there's like singers, guitar players going back like 5+ generations, and like, whoa, that's where I get it from, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that to your point about that, and includes your birth mother, it's especially tragic that most of these deaths in your life have been people who were just like you, who valued the same things that you valued, who were you know, it's a very small community when you zoom out and you look at the 7 billion people in the world, people who make it their life's work to create, who get their most joy from singing, from art. And to, you know, generally those people flock together, and we have lost a lot of them in the last few years.
It makes you vulnerable. Like it's not a safe choice. No. Like if I wanted to like have an easy life, these were not the choices that I would have made, you know? Like
Yeah.
Then sometimes I think I'm like, would I have ever had an easy life? Too. I mean, even before I started music, I think I started realizing, or like, you know, doing music after like high school and stuff, like it was like, man, what am I gonna do where I feel normal, you know? Or I don't think I think I'd always be broke or something.
Well, and I think you're saying a little less than like economic easy. I mean, it gets easier economically, but it's just like if you constrain what it is that you want to do, and you go to your work and then you come home and you don't have like I really want to reach for this, I really want to do this, and in order to do this I have to like take a job that is more flexible with touring or whatever. I mean, it's difficult economically, yes, but it's also difficult like across the board because you have wishes that sometimes you don't attain in the time period you think you're going to attain them, and then that can be tough on your soul. I don't know if that resonates with you at all, or if you agree with that.
I mean, yeah, sometimes it's just becoming adapted to disappointment is necessary, and like not even internalizing it, just moving on. You know, like you don't get to have things play out the way you want always.
So 2008, 2017, 2018, 2019, you say lots of friends have passed.
Yeah,
and
all creative people, all the most kind people, you know.
And how do you process that, you know? I mean, aside from making this album, just like when you are alone and you're thinking about this.
I try, when I think of a few people, I just try to like immerse myself in the things that they were able to create, which we're so lucky to have, is like these artifacts from our friends that I can always go back and like listen to Danny's ambient album or listen to Luke's like noise project, and it's always there for me. And it's like coming back to that lyric in our song Santa Fe, like you're not really gone. And yeah, we're lucky to have those things.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, I think him and I we basically have known the same people that we've all, you know, unfortunately lost in the last few years, but they've all had something that we can go back to and listen to or look at, and you know, that's how they're immortalized, I guess. Is like.
And yet, through all the tragedy here, you don't feel like this album is a depressive album. You don't feel like this album is bleak in its worldview. I
don't think that we could ever make that album. Like that's not.
Yeah,
us.
I feel like, you know, when I write songs, I feel kind of melancholy when I write a lot of the songs, but I don't feel like I'm trying to make them sad. Like the sound, I don't know. Like they're not. Some of them sound kind of.
What I don't know who was sending me the email. It might have been you, but you put it in a really good way about how you like address all this stuff. Like you don't ignore the feelings. Like without the feelings, the music wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
But yet, there's an intent here about like we have to keep pushing forward, and we have to like try to inspire people, if that's the way you want to put it. We just have to put something out there that can like maybe act as an alternative to just falling to the darkness.
Yeah. Like, whoa. What can you do? You know, that's no way to be. Like, if we can like, writing songs for us is a way to like free ourselves and give ourselves hope. So if that can translate for other people, then great.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I mean, and I think, you know, a lot of the lyrics you write are really about telling yourself that you know, like we acknowledge that we're both pretty like you know, we can get pretty sad sometimes. Like there's a lot of sad things in the world, but you can come out of it, you know, one way or another.
You can do it with harmony and hook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, really, since I was a kid, at least, like making music was always made me feel a lot better, and like I released something into, like, you know.
Well, another point you made when we were talking before was that you feel like the songs needed to be finished.
Yeah, like if this was just some like vanity project, like I'm trying to make like a cool record, like I could have just tossed it off in 2 weeks or whatever. But like we spent so much time on this because like we wanted it to be like not just like perfect, but correct, you know. And like we wanted to share these songs so much because we wanted to give like the 3 year process that went into this, and like not getting over things, but like working through things. We wanted to give that to people, like a soundtrack for working through things.
Do you feel like in some ways the album is a tribute to, dedicated to the people? I mean, because they're all in there, right?
Absolutely.
I feel like every single one of those people that you've lost, it sounds like it's in the dozens, It seems like without the loss, this album would not be the way that it is.
Not at all.
And so for that reason, I feel like they're in there.
Yeah, it's I'd say, at least personally, it's definitely a tribute to those people. And I mean, at least one of our songs is about one of our friends pretty directly, but that's kind of what drove me, and like always in the back of my head was like, I can't give up on finishing this song. It's like, no matter how bad I feel about what I did with something in it, and I don't believe in this song anymore or something, it was like, no, I have to like do it. I have to force myself to do this. So
what's the song that's dedicated to the person?
World of Color is the song. Yeah.
Could you share a little bit about that? You don't have to tell the specific person's name, but I mean, just whatever you want to share. Because I will say this, that you sent me 4 lyrics, and that was the song that grabbed me the most in terms of the lyrical content. I actually had a question about it, so you've just answered it. That's what it's about. But yeah, anything you can share from that song I think would be great.
Well, I mean, you wrote the lyrics, but I mean, it's definitely about, I think the brightness that person brought and to our lives, and I don't know.
Yeah, it was our really good friend Ara Joe.
Yeah.
He was like brilliant creative force in Oakland, like one of a kind. Like that, I don't say that lightly, but like, yeah, like she like was so adept at being able to create a world, like a world of color, and like really, it was so bright, and
yeah, she just was a very like strong force in that amongst the people we knew, and was kind of I think a lot of people would say it was kind of bound everyone together, and was able to look past certain things, and be a moderator, and
some people
creator,
are just the glue,
Yeah.
She was obviously involved in the community. Was she an artist as well? Did she make things?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure you can find those things online.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, she illustrator, like just crafts. Was in a band.
What was her band called?
It's called HGS. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you sharing it. I would not have known that if you hadn't said that. So now maybe more people will learn about her work, and I think that's important stuff.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the album and the songs on it changed from what it would have been in 2016 and what it ended up being in 2019?
God, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, the first 2 songs we wrote, I think, were just kind of like Gilded Throne, which is like, thematically it doesn't really tie in necessarily with the rest of the album, but it just kind of on the same continuum of like brighter, cheerier stuff, which is where we were coming from before, I think. And like, we didn't delve into like melancholy per se, but just it got serious, you know?
Like it would have been a lot more sort of a whimsical and like kind of just like
concept
we're having fun making
stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I really stressed about this album to the point where I was like, there was a point where it hit me like I have to do this the right way, and like sometimes being a perfectionist, kind of you get lost in that. But yeah, like I definitely agree. It probably would have been a different feeling.
I mean, this is probably the first like artistic work either of us have ever done in our lives. It wasn't just about something we kind of wanted to do. This is the first thing I felt like we had to finish.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the whole point with my line of questions is like, I feel like this is so much more than just an album that sounds good. I feel like the emotional stuff and the tumult that you went through is what made this thing the album that it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you just wonder without it, like how you would have navigated these last few years. I mean, your life, I'm sure, has been difficult at different times throughout, but it does feel like there's been a particular heaviness in the last 3 years comparatively.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's been the roughest, but like also the most beautiful. Like it's just been like more intense.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, weird to think about it in that way. Yeah, Because I mean, right after all that happened, the summer after that happened, we went and we played this festival in Sweden, and we got invited to play there, and we got to play a Morning Hand set, and one of our friends was there that lost people too, and it was
randomly
there
in Sweden at the same time,
and it felt like just this. I think it was one of the most beautiful moments of my life being at that place, and for it to happen like so soon after all that was like, I don't know, it was kind of affirming. It's like this is what I want to be doing, and this is.
And I felt like a tide turning moment too.
I felt that without those people that we had lost, even we wouldn't have got there, and I felt happy because of that too, because like I felt this like, wow, we made it here, and it and I really miss those people, but like I think it was because of them like that we got there, and that's why we need to do Morning Hands, because we owe it. I feel like I owe it to them in a way.
Because without all of the people, both dead and alive, you wouldn't be the people that you are sitting at this table.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it also seems like you, in the last 3 years, have like gained the ability to feel tragedy by another 30%, but also because of that, you get to have some more joy on the other end, because you have these experiences now. You grow closer with the people you experience the tragedy with, and you get to have these highs, like having your friend be in the audience, something that would have been so much less significant if not for the tragedy that you shared together 6 months earlier. It's
just like heightened everything, I feel like 5 years ago, like our lives weren't like, perfect, but like pretty comfy,
Yeah.
I hadn't.
It's weird to think about times before that, even, honestly. So,
it's a different reality.
Right?
Does it feel like this album is written about an era that was like a prior era in your life, or does it feel like you're still in this chapter?
We're still in it. Like, I mean, I don't know what's coming after this exactly, but like that was just the peak of this iceberg of experience, and like. We're still kind of on the iceberg a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like it's half of it is from a sort of a different time, and then some of it's like very now, the way we feel right now, and it's even the music, that is very like I'm in that kind of.
As a singer, like you on tour, like you'll sing the same songs like 10 days in a row or whatever, and like sometimes. After a long enough time, it's not even like you're not feeling it anymore. I'm still feeling all these songs every time I sing them. Like sometimes even after I sing a song, I have to like take a second, because I'm still in the song. Like it's still happening to me, and it's still real. So.
Like the emotions that you put into writing the song, like it still kind of comes up and gets you to that place. Did that happen tonight?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It still happens all the time. Like almost every night we play a show. Like I'm not just performing the song, like I'm feeling it.
Did that happen prior to this chapter we've been talking about tonight?
With some songs we played a lot that aren't like about super serious stuff, for sure.
Yeah. I just wondered if like this period has kind of changed your relationship to the stuff you make, and maybe because the stuff you make has so much more put into it now, that's what's happened.
There's more of us in the music than ever before. Not just ideas we have about a song. It's like, this is us.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Creeping Enemy.
Okay. Creeping Enemy, like that also kind of came out of my ghost ship experience. I just felt like I felt like out of nowhere I saw a lot of people kind of like becoming very public about like taking on some advocate role around like either like being very public about their grief in certain ways. It was like, wait, you didn't really know anybody, like I call them grief thieves, like just like weirdos coming out of the woodwork to sort of like claim an experience and like, I don't know, you're my enemy.
What about Empty Everything?
Well, it's kind of about loss too.
Yeah.
It's sort of like that song's a conversation with myself in a lot of ways. It's like me talking to myself about not being able to like accept help or sympathy or this or that, because like throughout my life I've been like hyper self-sufficient, like type A in some ways, and that's like been a barrier to like dealing with stuff, like emotional stuff. And this is almost like that song is the most intense personification of that inner voice I have. Like I've been crushed and then set free to believe in suffering. So spare me your sympathy. Like I'll empty everything, meaning like I'll pour myself into everything I do, and I don't need anything from anybody else. But it's not even like I'm saying that's it, like healthy. That's just that voice speaking, and I'm just acknowledging that is happening inside me.
Yeah. Well, and the reason I want to do a couple of these is like I really like your poetry, essentially.
Thank you.
I like how you feel things, you observe things, and I think the way you put them into your songs is quite good.
And it all rhymes.
Tom Gaffey, any closing thoughts?
Love
for
the
you?
band, great
Yeah.
hook. Boy, great melody. These guys are great writers. Yeah, you go see them live. That's the point. We really need to start paying attention to our musicians in the Bay Area. So when you see Morning Hands playing, you will not be disappointed. Go and see these guys live.
Yeah, got my best moves on stage.
He does, and he'll probably be wearing a smoking Hawaiian shirt.
Oh.
The moves are good. I enjoyed the moves.
moves are good. As
As a mover myself, I enjoyed the moves.
Didn't always move, just kind of started.
Well, this is an important new development.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think it's good. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. We first, kind of met you 2 years ago when you came on with another project, but at least I see your stuff come across online. You're playing shows here and there and all that, and I just love what you do. I think it's not only do I think the music's good, but I just love like the unique vibe that you both have.
Thank you.
You very much stand out. Everybody stands out in their own way, but you especially stand out as different from the people who you create with in your community, and I think that's a very cool thing. And thank you for being so generous and coming on and discussing the struggles of this album, because I know it's not an easy thing.
Yeah, thank you guys so much, for real.
Yeah.
No problem.
It really means a lot to have somebody discuss it with us, because it's a big thing for me. So
yeah, it's a big life moment. This album coming out is a big life moment for both of you. So we got to document that tonight, and I feel good about it. And speaking of that, Morning Hands will be playing a selection of songs from their full-length debut in just a moment. Thanks again for joining us,
Stick around and
guys.
listen, and then get out and see these guys.
Thanks again, guys.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
the old charade for faces that we need. A semi-serious facade on infinite repeat. We can't fly too far out of this town, cause we don't have wings and we don't know how. Cold wind blowing in the dead of night as we toss and turn and fight for our lives. Big deal in the smallest of ways. The hometown hero never gets paid. Betting on the wrong horse half of the time. I can't help feeling past my prime. I want my life back now. I need a memory remedy, 'cause you've been on my mind enough. Can't you see you're killing me? I want my life back now. Memory remedy, 'cause you've been on my mind enough. Can't you see you're killing me? I want my life back now. Memory remedy, 'cause you've been on my mind enough. Can't you see you're killing me? I want my life back now. I can feel you moving from a mile away. That smirk of secret power forming with no delay. Scanning every angle from your teeth to your claws. The corners of your mouth reveal your sinister plots. You seem to have a sense of when I'm down in the dirt. 'Cause when you twist the knife, you know it fucking hurts. You fold your arms and smile as you watch me drown. But I won't let you let me down. I know, I sense what's been gathering around me. It feels like a curse from another century. Bury what we built under your sacred ground. But I won't let you let me down. You can snap your fingers and I'm back in your life. Pull me from my desert to your world of ice. More nails for my coffin and the sun and the stars. Sinking to the beat of my lonely heart. You seem to have a sense of when I'm down in the dirt. 'Cause when you twist the knife, you know it fucking hurts. You fold your arms and smile as you watch me drown. But I won't let you let me down. and they push you in the blinding light. You'll be sharing all the stages of a grief that has no end in sight. You're lurking on the fringes, understudy waiting in the wings. You're waiting for your window, a canary no one taught to sing. So you're the one who follows me, ripping through my canopy, add insult to injury, 'cause you're my creeping enemy. I tiptoe hunting silently, so watch out when you fall asleep. Could have been a friend to me, but you're my creeping and my enemy. You're my creeping enemy. You're my creeping enemy. You're crying in communion with 100 other hurting hearts, cocooned in your illusion, while another life is ripped apart. I've seen a lot of changes and shared a lot of common pain, but I can never steal the spotlight just to shine it on myself in vain. You found yourself a platform, an opportunity to suffocate. You think that everybody hates you, but you never mattered anyway. So you're the one who follows me, ripping through my canopy, add insult to injury, 'cause you're my creeping enemy. I tiptoe hunting silently, so watch out when you fall asleep. Could have been a friend to me, but you're my creeping and my enemy. I know why you follow me, so watch out when you fall asleep. Could have been a friend to me, but you're my creeping and my enemy. You're my creeping enemy. You're my creeping enemy. talk about